The final Sunday of September has concluded, which means that we are now just about a quarter of the way through the NFL season. From this point on, this is where things get real. The weather's gonna get colder and players are gonna get a little banged up. Over these next few weeks, we're gonna find out who the true contenders are and what teams were just what I like to call September softies. But just like a bear bulking up in preparation for the cold winter to come, it's important to get these early season victories because it makes it easier to survive the test of the next 3 months of the year. In this video, I will be giving you 3 teams who took crucial early season victories this weekend, and I'll be breaking down why their wins are going to be critical for them moving forward. At number 3, I have the Washington Commanders. Is this offense incredible right now or what? They had 17 consecutive scoring possessions excluding kneel downs to end the half or the game, a streak that started in week 1. In week 3, the Commanders looked impressive against the Cincinnati Bengals on Monday Night Football, and a lot of people considered it to be Jaden Daniels' coming out party. But I think this win was even more impressive. This is a team with a ton of new pieces, led by a rookie quarterback. They just had a huge win where they played out of their minds on the road under those primetime lights. They then flew out to Arizona in a completely different time zone on a short week to play the Cardinals, who have been at home for 3 consecutive weeks now. And despite all of that, they replicated their Monday night performance and made it even better. The defense played their best game of the season so far, sacking Kyler Murray 4 times and holding the Cardinals offense to only 14 points. But the man that has everyone talking is their rookie quarterback, who they took with the 2nd overall pick just 4 months ago, Jaden Daniels. On Sunday, Daniels became the first player ever to complete over 85% of his passes in back-to-back weeks. And his 82.1 completion percentage is the most by any quarterback in NFL history throughout the first 4 weeks of the year. Keep in mind, this isn't the most out of rookie quarterbacks, this is out of any quarterback to ever play in the NFL. He also scored 2 total touchdowns and accounted for 280 total yards. He is head and shoulders above every rookie quarterback right now. A lot of people might think that because this offense is scoring so many points that they might be super explosive and create a lot of big plays, but it's actually the opposite. Cliff Kingsbury has designed this offense to make Jaden Daniels' life easy. Jaden Daniels currently has the 2nd quickest average time to throw amongst all quarterbacks this year. The Commanders are really good at getting these underneath routes open and allowing their receivers to make plays after the catch. And this is a great example of that right here. This is 3rd and 2 and the game is tied at 7 apiece. If you're the Commanders here, you really want to get a first down to keep this drive alive so that you can go score and take advantage of this game. The Cardinals are going to bring pressure here and rush 6 guys at Daniels. And watch this right here. Jeremy McNichols, who stands at 5'9" and 214 pounds, picks up this block right here on the defensive tackle Angelo Blackson, who is 6'4" and 317 pounds. McNichols puts him on the deck and Daniels makes a good read and hits Terry McLaurin for a quick first down. Plays like this, these quick passes from Jaden Daniels, is the reason why he looks like an immediate success in the NFL right now. They also had a great day running the football. Brian Robinson had 100 rushing yards and a touchdown. And I also want to give another shout out to Jeremy McNichols, who I just showed picking up that block. McNichols got some playing time for the Commanders this weekend due to Austin Eckler being ruled out with a concussion. Washington is now the 10th different team that McNichols has been a part of since being drafted in 2017. And he took 8 carries for 68 yards and 2 touchdowns for the Commanders on Sunday. The Commanders are firing on all cylinders right now, and given the state of their division, they have a real chance of being one of the biggest surprises of the year. The Eagles and Cowboys are both 2-2, and they've had their ups and downs, and neither team has really moved me in any of their victories. And the Giants at 1-3 don't appear to be a threat to the division crown this year. But the Commanders, they look like a division winner right now. Looking ahead at their schedule, I see a lot of wins on the horizon. They play the Browns next week, and then they have a tough game against Baltimore the following weekend. Then they play the Panthers, Bears, Giants, and Steelers, which are all winnable games. I'd say it's reasonable to expect the Commanders to go 4-2 over these next 6 weeks, which would put them at 7-3 going into the final stretch of the season. This team is hot right now. I do expect them to cool off a little bit, but they're giving me vibes of last year's Texans. And I'm sure every Commanders fan is getting flashbacks to Robert Griffin III's rookie year in 2012, where they won the division in just his first season. Now, as the second biggest winner of week 4, I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They had a little hiccup against the Broncos last week, and it kind of seemed like this team was falling back down to earth after a couple of huge wins in the first 2 games of the year. But they were facing a test against the Eagles, who just defeated their division rival New Orleans Saints in a close game in week 3. And it looks like this offense is still as strong as ever. After only scoring 7 points a week ago, the Bucs scored 33 points against the Eagles. And it was Baker Mayfield who stole the show once again, throwing for nearly 350 yards and scoring 3 total touchdowns. Baker has been playing like one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. It looks like he's successfully following up his career year last year with potentially an even better one this season. In 2023, Baker had a career high in passing yards and passing touchdowns. This year, he's on pace to beat all of his numbers last year. One thing that has been great about Baker Mayfield this year is that he's getting the ball out of his hands quickly. His average time to throw of 2.4 seconds ranks as the 3rd quickest in the NFL. This is not something that we're used to seeing from him, as in 2020, which was arguably his best season in Cleveland, his average time to throw was over 3 seconds, and that was the longest in the NFL out of 35 eligible quarterbacks. So he's getting rid of the ball quicker than ever before, and he's turning the ball over at the lowest rate of his career. This is a sign of a quarterback that is comfortable within an offense. And you can see that in these plays right here. This first play right here is on the second offensive drive of the game for the Bucs. Baker already threw a touchdown pass to Mike Evans on the first drive of the game, and now he's feeling it again on this drive. The Bucs are inside the 10, and they're gonna show trips to the left. All 3 of these guys right here, they're gonna cause a bunch of commotion, but they don't matter. This play is all gonna be between Trey Palmer right here, who's gonna run a post, and the 4th round rookie out of Oregon, Bucky Irving, who's gonna run a flat. When the ball is snapped here, watch how Baker Mayfield keeps his eyes on Irving in the flat. He even kind of hitches in his drop back like he's gonna throw it to him. This causes the safety Reed Blankenship to pull up and try to help. Once he sees that Blankenship is moving over to cover Irving, he knows that Palmer is gonna have inside leverage on Darius Slay. All he has to do is get this ball over the linebacker Nakobe Dean, and they're gonna have a chance at 6 points. And he fires an absolute laser to Trey Palmer, who makes a great catch while fighting through contact with Darius Slay draped all over him. This is a confident throw right here by Baker Mayfield, and it's what makes him so great. He plays fearless. Here's another huge pass by Baker Mayfield right here. The Eagles started showing some life, and they cut the Bucs lead to only 10 points. And with over 10 minutes left to play in the 3rd quarter, there's still plenty of football left to be played. This is 3rd and 11 right here. If you're Tampa, you really need this first down. You do not want to give the ball right back to Philadelphia, who is finding their rhythm. The Eagles are in a dime package with 6 defensive backs on the field in an obvious passing situation. And they do a great job of still getting pressure on Baker, but he moves up and rolls out of the pocket to avoid the rush and finds Chris Godwin for a crucial first down. The Bucs wound up scoring a touchdown on this drive, and that essentially put the nail in the coffin for the Eagles' comeback hopes. This win was huge for the Buccaneers because it showed that they can bounce back after a tough loss and play some great football. It appears as though this is the best team in the NFC South right now. The Falcons haven't been overly convincing so far, and the Saints offense looks like it's just cooled off after their extremely explosive start to the season. This win has shown all of us that the Bucs are not a fluke. They're a team full of some veteran playmakers, and they can beat just about anyone in the NFC. And now the biggest winner of week 4 was pretty easy for me, and it's the same team that won it last week. The Baltimore Ravens absolutely routed the Buffalo Bills on Sunday Night Football by a score of 35-10. And like I said last week, the Ravens absolutely needed to step up to the plate and get a win against the Bills or the Bengals over these next 2 weeks. And it looks like they're ready to take on anything after this Sunday. Lamar Jackson has been playing like he wants to win back-to-back MVPs this year. Against the Bills, he was efficient through the air like he has been all season, and he also had another 50 yards and a touchdown on the ground. He is currently on pace to have nearly 5,000 yards total on the year, and 1,300 of them coming from running the ball. And running the ball was something that Lamar said that he wanted to do more this year after slimming down and losing 15 pounds over the offseason. I think it's been a great success so far. He's currently averaging 7.5 yards per carry, which would be a career high for him if he maintains it for the entire season. I think this is a prime example of a player who is leaning into his strengths. Lamar Jackson will never be the kind of passer that Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, and Josh Allen are. But why make him try? He is honestly one of the most unique players that this league has ever seen. Nobody has been able to have this much success as a runner while being this efficient as a passer. For years, people in the media were saying that the Ravens need to go out and get another receiver. They need to pass it more. Lamar needs to learn how to play from within the pocket and carve up defenses like prime Peyton Manning. But why? He's the greatest dual threat quarterback of all time, hands down. He knows how to read defenses, he can make plays with his arm, but the reason why he's getting paid $260 million is because of what he can do on the ground. So I absolutely love the Ravens and Lamar Jackson running the ball a little bit more this season. And for those of you who are concerned with the injury risks, as long as he avoids big hits and slides and gets out of bounds, there's absolutely no problem with it. This is the best version of Lamar Jackson that we've seen since 2019 when he unanimously won the MVP award. He's playing smart and efficient football and leaning into his strengths. But while I can sit here and talk about Lamar Jackson for hours, the real difference in this Ravens offense when compared to last year is the addition of Derrick Henry, who, the more that I think about it, is probably the only active running back that is 100% a future Hall of Famer in my opinion. He's had double-digit touchdowns every single year since 2018, and he already has 5 in 4 games this season. On Sunday's domination of the Bills, Derrick Henry ran for 199 yards and this 87-yard touchdown on the first offensive play for Baltimore. King Henry is averaging 6 yards per carry, which would be a career high for him if he keeps it up for the entire year, and it's also the most he's ever averaged through the first 4 games of the season. He's 30 years old. He's at the age where running backs are supposed to decline, and he looks better than ever. I think it's so ironic that the missing piece for this offense was a great running back and not a great receiver. Ever since Lamar Jackson has been the quarterback in Baltimore, they ran their backfield by committee. They've had guys like J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards who were always unfortunately plagued with injuries. They had Mark Ingram, who was good for a year, and they even tried Devontae Freeman, Latavius Murray, and Kenyon Drake. They also brought in Le'Veon Bell for a second. It has been kind of a revolving door in this Ravens backfield due to injuries and poor performance. And now they finally have a stud running back, a guy who has proven to be the best running back in the NFL over the past 5 years without a doubt. This is the best addition of the Ravens that I think we have ever seen, and these past 2 weeks we've started to see it click. It's kind of outlandish to say that the Ravens are the best team in the NFL right now at 2-2, but it's hard not to feel that way after Sunday night. I think they are without a doubt the best team in their division, and I think we'll see that this weekend when they travel to Cincinnati and expose this shaky Bengals defense. And at honorable mention, I have a team that many people probably will be upset that I left off this list, and the team is the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings improved to 4-0 for the first time since 2016 with a 31-29 victory against their NFC North foe, Green Bay Packers. And while the score seems like it was a close game, it is important to keep in mind the Packers did not lead for a single second throughout the game, and it was never even tied after it was 0-0. But the reason why I don't have Minnesota on the list is because they didn't play a complete game, if you ask me. While they easily handled a division rival, Sam Darnold looked great yet again, and they picked off Jordan Love 3 times throughout the game. They still allowed the score to get way too close. They were up 28-0 in the second quarter, and they allowed 22 unanswered points by the Packers, who cut the deficit to just 6 points in the beginning of the fourth quarter. Now, credit to the Vikings for marching down the field and scoring a field goal to go up by 9, which pretty much shut the door on a Packers comeback, but you do not want to let that happen, especially against a division rival on the road. Every other team on this list played a complete game in week 4. The Commanders pummeled the Cardinals the entire game. The Bucks slammed the door on the Eagles in the third quarter when they showed signs of life, and the Ravens were full throttle the entire game. Whereas I feel like the Vikings started to get a little too sloppy on offense in the second half. If they would have went out on the opening drive of the third quarter and scored a touchdown to go up 35-7, this game would have been over, and they probably could have sat their starters in the fourth quarter. But instead, after the Packers went 3 and out to start the second half. Darnold threw a pick, then they punted again, and then Darnold fumbled in the opening drive of the fourth quarter. And then the next thing you know, it's a one possession game. I do not like that the Vikings were holding on for dear life at the end of this game. But with that said, this was still a huge win for them. Darnold still played really good despite 2 second half turnovers, and I felt like this defense still played pretty well, and they only started giving up points when the offense couldn't stay on the field and the Packers just started chucking it everywhere and running no huddle. Obviously, the defense is going to get a little tired. And with that said, that's going to be it for today's video. If you enjoyed this video and want more NFL analysis, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, as it will go a long way in helping me create the best quality NFL content for all of you. And as always, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.